All right. Well, hello, everybody. My name's Justin Keay. I'm a field specialist in horticulture with MU Extension, and I'm joined by my colleague Patrick Byers, and we're going to do a little bit of a faculty spotlight on Patrick today. So thanks for joining us, Patrick.
Oh, my pleasure, Justin. Good to be with you today.
So what's your role with MU Extension, and how long have you been with MU Extension?
So I have an interesting position. Like you, Justin, I'm a horticulture field specialist, and I'm based in Southwest Missouri. I serve a number of counties in the southwestern and south central part of the state, working with commercial fruit and vegetable growers primarily, but I also work with the green industry and with home horticulture to some degree as well. Also have an appointment in produce food safety. That's a relatively new part of my job, but I really enjoy that. And I also work in a project that is focused on beekeeping, in specifically beekeeping for veterans. So those projects all keep me busy. I've been with Extension just a hair over 15 years, 15 years on May 11th of this year. So it's been a great job, a great organization to be part of.
Cool. Yeah, that all sounds like exciting stuff. And what were you up to before you started working with Extension?
Well, looking back over my career, I've only had three jobs. Uh, Prior to Extension, I worked for the Missouri State Fruit Experiment Station for 18 years. And that particular facility was part of originally Southwest Missouri State University, more recently Missouri State University. And it was a site where we conducted fruit related research and outreach to serve Missouri's fruit industry. And prior to that, I had a 3-year appointment with the University of Arkansas Fruit Substation, working as a research associate in the fruit breeding programs at this U of A facility.
Cool. Lots of fruit experience in your background.
I've had the privilege and the pleasure of focusing on fruit my entire career.
That's awesome. What would you say, what's the highlight or favorite part of your job?
Well, every job has great points, and every job has some points that aren't so great. But for me, the highlight of my job is the interactions I have with commercial fruit and vegetable farmers. Many of those are individual contacts, one-on-one, where you have a chance to learn about the way fruits and vegetables are grown by the farmers here in Missouri, understand their realities, and help them find ways to be profitable in the short term and sustainable in the long term.
And if you had to pick your favorite crop to work with, what would it be?
Oh, hands down, elderberries. So I've been associated with elderberries all my life. As a very small child, helped pick elderberries for my mother to make elderberry jelly. But professionally, starting in the late 90s, I've had the opportunity to be associated with the development of the Missouri elderberry industry. And it's been such a privilege to see it grow from essentially no cultivated elderberries when we began our project to today, where, there's probably somewhere between 400 to 500 acres of cultivated elderberry in Missouri and the neighboring states, and an industry that's worth well in excess of $1 million at just the raw fruit alone, and many times that when you look at the value added products made from elderberry. So it's been a fabulous opportunity to see how that combination of research and extension and innovative entrepreneurial farmers who can essentially create an industry where there was none before.
Awesome. So in terms of like new crops on the horizon for Missouri growers, and I know you're working on elderberry, is there anything else that kind of interests you on the horizon?
I have lots of interest. I mean, um, quite frankly, the limiting factor is the number of hours in the day as far as crops to work on. But I'm particularly excited about those crops that offer potential to become profit centers for our farmers here in Missouri, and that would include crops like pawpaw, the American pawpaw, the American persimmon, the Chinese chestnut certainly offers opportunities as well. And then there's some other berry crops, which the opportunity is not as I think imminent as some of these other crops, but crops like haskap and goji and those sorts of crops I think offer potential as well. But if I had to pick my favorite crops to work on. You're seeing a trend there as far as fruits and berries, and again, those I think are good crops to consider for our farmers.
So if you had time and money to kind of pick a cool research project, what kind of things would you be interested in studying?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've been, of course, waxing poetic on fruit, but there's other crops that I'm interested as well. And I don't know if you would call native orchids a crop, but I think it would be really cool to investigate propagation techniques for native orchids so that these wildflowers essentially could be brought into cultivation. It's very damaging to dig these plants from the wild, and they generally don't survive. But they're lovely plants. They could play a role in our landscapes if we could figure out good ways to propagate them. So looking at native orchids, I think would be really, really cool.
Cool. So I know you've traveled a lot for work and otherwise. Maybe you could pick what's the coolest place you've ever visited on your travels.
Oh, that's a tough one, Justin. When I travel, there's always this intersection between horticulture and touristic activities. And so when I think about interesting places, frequently there's some horticultural aspect to them. But I think if I had to pick one of my favorite places, it would be Japan. And I've had a chance to visit Japan several times and different times of the year. And the appreciation for horticulture in Japan is fairly deeply ingrained in the psyche of the Japanese people. And it is such a pleasure as a horticulturist to see how people use plants in their daily lives, certainly for their utility, but also for their beauty. And Japan, again, is an amazing place, certainly horticulturally, as I've just mentioned, but as far as the culture, the history, the landscapes, the people, I just really have enjoyed my trips to Japan.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Patrick. Appreciate your time and look forward to talking to you next about what's going on in the field.
Oh, thank you so much, Justin.